So, let's do some hard work, shall we? The core of our life consists of many things. It could be anything, actually. Anything you can imagine is in the core of our life, of our reality, in everything. So, is the hard work, as you possibly have imagined. Why is it important to do hard work? Well, simply because you want to live a happy life. How do you imagine yourself living a happy life? Fulfilling, satisfying one. What are you doing? What is your job? What your relationships perhaps look like? See the wide picture of what is going on in your happy life. See everything, every detail. Perhaps you have a different kind of job compared to now. And this life, you might work as an accountant. In the happy life, by contrast, you are a CEO or business manager, perhaps in this life you are computer designer. But in reality, what you appreciate more is the physical painting. The process of actually doing layers and layers of that paint with your brush and just flowing with the process. This is what actually satisfies you. We might know what we want, what is the truth, so to say, the true way of living. And still we avoid this path. Perhaps because our community, our family, our friends told us that this is not the best idea. Or self-esteem perhaps was too low to actually believe in yourself and materialize your dream this way. But perhaps now, as you are watching this video, you understand that all those notions that created an idea about your dream as something bad, as something you have to avoid at all costs, are utterly and profoundly wrong. And that now, right now, you have the key for starting to build up that happy, satisfying life you had an image of in your head at the beginning of this video. You are capable of achieving that dream. You are capable, I'm repeating this, of everything just by doing hard work. Someone might enjoy philosophies, studying philosophy, but many people might consider this field of work as useless because there is no high incomes, or there is no some kind of a respect for this field. Well, you might get all that respect, high income, and in addition to that, an enjoyable work. The work that makes you wake up every day. So, throw all the biases aside and do everything to make your happy life real, not just an imagination. And how we do that? By doing the hard work. It is a labor to make something out of philosophy. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes true contribution to actually become a highly respected philosopher who earns a lot of money and in addition to that enjoys doing his work. So the nature of the hard work consists of three main points. So first of all, how you can identify whether the work is hard is by a simple gut feeling. Intrinsically, you know that this is what you have to do. This is the only path you have to go by in order to live just exist in this world. Otherwise, things might end up in a bad way. You probably imagine what are those ways. So, you feel inherently, internally, that this is the only work you gotta work on. You know that, but you don't want to accept it. And here's the thing, if you accept it, if you do the first step, it is, many people think that this step has to be something like this, or even bigger than that. No. This kind of a step is already enough for building up your skyscraper. And we will talk about that in the theme of the second aspect of the nature of the hard work. So, your dreams look vibrant, colorful. They are all purely positive. The sun is shining, the sky is clear, everyone's happy, everyone's laughing. You are happy, you are satisfied, you are in the state of Zen when you basically are content with the reality for what it is. The truth you want to accept is that it takes effort, it takes immense pain, suffering to get to that point. Maybe you have to work 14, 13, or even 20 hours a day, I don't know. But that might be an exaggeration. But you have to work a lot. Push yourself to the limits for some period of time. For this dream to become a real, concrete phenomenon. For this dream to actually coalesce with your life. So, always remember that any idea you have in your head of yourself, living just the best possible life, perhaps having some unique attributes like a good speech, a clear speech, or you view yourself making contact with unknown person and hitting up a conversation with that person, and then with another one, and then the other. This takes effort and will always take the real effort, the hard work. And you will have to contribute to it It is an intrinsic feeling of fully contributing to that purpose of some kind, to that mission. You feel that something rises in your body as you are interacting with this dream. You feel that you become more and more energized. You are pushing your limits. You are expanding your risk tolerance, so to say. As you might know, there is no way of avoiding risks in life either. So, this is also related to the hard work. Life will bring on those risks if you do not face them by yourself. And when life brings those risks, those challenges, it feels immensely painful to see, to behold those challenges and to actually work with those challenges. Because you are not used to dealing with those risks or with those challenges. You are not accustomed to challenging yourself. You are accustomed to comfort and being inert, basically. In this life, you are either forced to face a challenge or you face them by yourself. So, when you face those challenges, here is the key for feeling less pain. When you see the challenge and overcome the challenge itself, go through the process of overcoming the challenge. In order to get into that state, what you have to do is to simply create challenges for yourself daily. Create any challenge related to your dream goal. Any thoughts right now about your goals? Well, I would recommend you just writing them down somewhere you would like to keep them in mind, or just recollect those after watching this video. So, after you see that there is a dream, there is a goal, there is an aim to do something, here we get to the point, to the main point, and that is about doing hard work. By daily interacting with this goal you have, by getting into contact with it, literally, you basically become accustomed to that problem. To the point it is not a problem at all. Just a mere joy. out of knowing that this is what makes your life happy. This is what makes you content with everything. This is what gets you into that state of Zen, when you are totally satisfied with the reality as it is. If you accept this truth, the truth that there is no way of avoiding the challenges, and that every dream becomes reality only through consistent effort, consistent trial and error, consistent implementation, probation, you won. You just won in this life. And I guarantee if you develop a mindset which consistently reminds you that you gotta keep this track of challenging yourself so that you are fulfilled with your life. Or in other words, you basically modify your mindset to long-term success rather than short-term. Some practical advice there of challenging yourself might be taking responsibility. Taking responsibility, first of all, of your life. You now control the whole set of events you get. You do not just flow with life. That is, you are not you might imagine a stream of water, and the person who does not take responsibility of his or her life simply goes by that stream, God knows where. And this is the life of that person. It's constant flux because there is no clear idea of why to live a life. There's no purpose, there is no meaning. Put it simply. And of course, taking one of the most challenging tasks, probably taking responsibility of the things others don't want to do. Perhaps many people avoid those challenges. Perhaps they have the same dreams as you. And there is a potential competition that might occur somewhere in the future. Now these people are abandoning their dreams. And you, exactly, you have 99% potential, perhaps, of actually achieving that goal of fulfilling your purpose, of actually building up the business you wanted, And this is a phenomenon called, if I'm not wrong, the game theory. The game theory. So, when one person knows exactly what the other person will do, the other person thinks the same way of the other person. And this bundle basically creates the game theory. But perhaps after this video, this game theory would be applied in the way in which the competition will rise, actually. So, as long as you have some time, enjoy the process. But eventually there'll be no competition, but pure respect, probably, for each other, because you are conforming to laws of life, or the basic principles of life, that there is no life without hardship, and there is something common now among people, and they become more and more closer. So this is another somewhat positive aspect of doing hard work. Eventually, if people become accustomed to doing hard work, there'll be a large community of people who achieve great, astounding goals. And when you take that responsibility right now of something the other person is not willing to do, it's like a trading process. It's a zero-sum game. If you win, you win only on the condition that the other person loses money. If you get the money, other people lose their money. It's something similar right now in this case, but you might actually be doing this for the good of the other people. And this kind of a trade-off is quite beneficial for you. And in the long term, it will be beneficial for other people as well, because you will end up building up your business or having your dream career. You see, the dream is always related to helping others in some way. Perhaps superficially it might look like something egotistical, self-concerned, like, becoming rich. But you become rich by making happy other people. And core reason why hard work becomes fulfilling is that you make someone happy by doing this hard work. Even now, if you don't have any business or any clients, you have the idea that in the future, as you will build out this skyscraper and eventually reach to its peak, and you will have some clients, you'll have some fan base, people who love you, who enjoy your products, your services. At this period of time, when you do hard work, you are motivated basically by a simple fact that people are satisfied with their lives. And this will be one of the high quality, so to say, reasons, motivations, boosters for continuing on, facing challenges, and working to your potential. And another part, of course, of becoming accustomed to the challenges is by taking the exact steps toward fulfillment of this purpose or of this goal. And I might actually recommend you using as a tool something you probably heard of is SMART goal setting. It is a simple tool you might use to get a visual form of your objective. You might get it as an image in your head, and now you convert it into words, and you actually view and see the goal itself. So what is about that SMART goal setting? SMART is actually a set of first letters of words smart, of words specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Abbreviature. So the specific part of the SMART goal setting is about detailed vision of your goal. The more details you add, the more likely you will be motivated to continue on pursuing that goal. Then, measurable. Is there any measurements? Perhaps if it is some financial goal related to finances, perhaps there is some amount of money you want to save up in your savings account, or perhaps there is something related to fitness. You want to do 12 reps of, 12 reps of bicep curls, 3 sets of bicep curls with 12 repetitions, and so on and so forth. If it is measurable, yet again, it becomes specific and thus keeps you motivated. The achievable part is about the resources you have, and this is actually a question. Do you have the resources for achieving that goal? Do you have enough energy? Do you have enough time or enough money? Are there some tools? Is there a capital for you to work through the process and go up that ladder to the peak or to the point of achievement? Realistic, I guess, is obvious for you. Your goal has to be realistic. But actually, let's talk a bit more about realistic. You might actually feel that your dream is not realistic enough. You want to become rich, all right? Yeah, the structure might seem unrealistic, the structure of the goal. But when you make it more vivid, when you make it more realistic, like I want to have a salary of $150,000 or something along these lines. You again go through the parts of specific, measurable, and make it realistic. So first, your dream might appear as unrealistic. But there is no reason to consider that unrealistic goal at a first glance. Totally unrealistic. You might just take that unrealistic goal just, to see the more clear picture of that unrealistic goal and make it realistic. And of course, the last part is time-bound. This part asks us when. When do we end up achieving that goal? What is the deadline? So I'll repeat for you again parts of the SMART goal setting: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. It's just a tool, so you want to use this tool as a complement to your main tool, which is your brain and your creativity, of course. The more creative you are with your dreams, the more happy and satisfied you'll be with the outcome. The second part about the nature of the hard work is that undoubtedly it will be long. It'll take a long time to get the results, to see the results of that hard work. And that is actually the part which makes the work itself hard, because it might take very, very long time to get the work to the end. Here is another mindset you gotta keep in mind and repeat to yourself as a mantra: that great amazing things develop slowly. Any successful business, any successful product, any successful person is not born successful, is not created instantly successful. I would actually leave a link in the description to the picture of a process of tree development. So, tree does not become instantly large. It develops over time. And anytime you feel discouraged, maybe unmotivated, doing that hard work, develop some sort of a habit of staring at that picture, basically. You might put it as a wallpaper, either on your lock screen or home page, so that you clearly see every time you take your phone to watch some TikToks or shorts or YouTube. And this image will remind you that you gotta stay on track. And I know it is unbearable to wait, but patience leads to the great horizons. It leads to great yield. Patience is what a farmer needs for getting the yield from his crops. Patience. And this image will serve as a symbol of this patience, as a symbolization of the need to be patient, because things, great things, good things, develop over time, and you don't get instant results. And over a long period of time, you'll feel discomfort doing this practice. Perhaps you want to build up some communication skills. Guess what you need? Constant contact with unknown people. And as you constantly get into contact with them every day, perhaps, every day, twice a day, in the mornings and at evenings, perhaps, striking a small talk with each and every person. And maybe months later, maybe a year later, you become adjusted to that. You become less anxious. You become more comfortable striking up conversation with unfamiliar people. You see, at the beginning, it seems so painful, so unbearable. It feels like a gnawing you know? But our body has a very useful habit for this case, a habit of developing a habit. So this feeling eventually wanes away. And each time, of course, as you develop the mindset of, as we spoke before, concentrating on the long-term success, valuing the reaction of your clients, that they'll be happy, they'll be satisfied with your product, and your product actually serves them in a good way and does not kill them. By the way, about that, if your product serves as a means, or even the service or a product serves as a means of just getting a profit, you will not probably enjoy doing that work that much. You'll rather enjoy getting money, but not the process itself. But when you know that the product you're serving, the service you are providing your client with, is actually benefiting them, perhaps their health increases, perhaps they feel mentally well, their life becomes better in the long term, then there will be even more satisfaction. And even if you convince yourself that everything is good, and you think actually that your Coca-Cola product, or something like Coca-Cola, or perhaps something similar to the fast food, is serving for the people's good, unconsciously you know that it fucks up their mental and physical health. You know that exactly. And this is another hard work for you to admit that this is not the best possible way I could show myself. I could do even better, you know? Perhaps it's not the right kind of goal you have found. You gotta excavate a bit deeper and see the actual picture of what is your dream life. So this was a bit of a tangent, but really important to keep in mind when you decide to have a career, that not only you will benefit, but rather other people will benefit from that too. And this mutual benefit will compound the happiness you will have in the future, in the long term, when the tree actually develops into a large, massive tree from a tiny little stick. This development might take a year, 5 years, or 10 years even. But the tree still keeps growing. It stays motivated to do so. Why not to become like a tree? Why not to adopt the same mindset as the tree? And actually stay motivated in the same way. another reference to the tree, to the way it keeps itself motivated. Perhaps it is unconscious of that. The tree itself is unconscious that it helps people, of course. But we might imagine that it stays motivated in this way, by knowing that it helps people with clearing out the air, the contaminated air. So you might use that as a reference to that picture you will get. Write a note like, helping people with cleaning out the air keeps me motivated. What about you? Something like along these lines, and this will keep you motivated. So recapping what we have learned, the nature of the hard work consists of the truth, which is about the work you gotta do, and you can feel that you gotta do it. And this way you understand that this is the challenge you have to face in order to your life to prosper. And a bit about setting the goals, smart goal setting, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound. Using that tool, you might create a specific way of overcoming a challenge or achieving a challenging goal. Of course, we touched on what high quality goal should look like. That it has to be not only about, it basically does not have to be a selfish goal, self-centered. Rather, it has to be centered on the benefit, on the actual benefit of others, on the well-being of others. And the second aspect of the nature of hard work is development over time. Slow development over time. The steps you might take to ensure that you are moving in the trend which leads you to the destination you want to get to. Is reminding yourself that even some little contributions to moving along this path are something. And, getting back to the example with competition, people might already wander off and forget about, for example, watering a specific tree, but you see some potential in that tree. And you see, at the beginning, when people gathered around the tree and were watering it, you kept in mind the game theory that they see each other doing that, and they suspect in each other a chance of wandering off. So each person thought that the other will eventually keys doing that, keys watering the tree. But the reality happened in this scenario, and people just got off. But this knowledge kept you motivated, doing even a little contribution to get that tree growing. And eventually it grew. It's a massive 100-meter in height tree. We think that the contributions we have to make always have to be extensive, large. But even just little contributions with size of like this are enough for building up this process, building up this skyscraper, building up your career, building up your happy life. Always try to make those contributions every day. Remind yourself that I gotta make some contribution today to my dream goal. Basically do that. This incentive you have internally made that you want to achieve that goal will work very well for you, because it is already the first step you have made. You have made a contract with yourself of some kind, how do they call that? A pact of some kind that, yeah, I'm going to start doing that. And this is already the first step. And you will continue on with this path with more odds and with more motivation. And getting to the last part of doing hard work, the third aspect. Again, it is all about going through the pain, which is a short term, and getting the high quality result. So the third aspect is somewhat like a summary of the previous two aspects. An addition to that I would like to make is that the pain we feel when we face the hard work itself is purely and utterly temporary. So, it is a trick of our mind. Every time you feel pain, mental pain, from doing something, this is probably one of the most fundamental, critical habits of your mind you want to create. You want to repeat to yourself that this pain is ephemeral. This pain is transient, and it will disappear. Just repeat to yourself, this pain will disappear. This pain is temporary. This pain will disappear. And instantly, as you get the feeling, the sense that you are already suffering from doing that work, and you know that you have to do it. You know exactly that this is the path to your dream. You remind yourself these words: pain is a temporary trick of the mind. Pain is a temporary trick of the mind. Your mind basically tricks you that that's end. You're going to die if you won't keys that process. Of course, I'm not telling to go beyond your limits and, deprive yourself from sleep and deprive yourself from food for this reason. No, of course. It is applicable for the cases in which your mind is whining about something minuscule, something that is not related to your well-being. So, if you just work 1 hour more, or you add additional 2 hours to your work, but you know that you gotta do that, and just 2 or 1 hour additional won't be that bad. It won't kill you. So you tell your mind, I understand, this is all painful, but remember, we are long-term oriented, so we'll get the best results if we keep on doing that. Remember, people will be happy, people will be satisfied in the future if we shall work on ourselves right now. And eventually you will get the astonishing results you so desire, just by enjoying the hard work you're doing. So, this was a 101 things you gotta know about doing hard work. Just want to say that I'm still working on this too, developing the enjoyment, the satisfaction out of the process of doing the hard work. But now that I've gained some knowledge about it, just want to provide you with this information. And of course, I would recommend you actually listening to an extensive collection of people who did work hard to get to where they are. And the part about slow development over time is one of the most important ones, probably. So, if you entrench a habit of reminding yourself that, first of all, long-term success, then about slow development, that it will be long, but during that time you develop skill, you develop knowledge, you develop a base for the future skyscraper you're about to build. And of course, that pain, the mental pain, is only a temporary trick of your mind. It is a temporary trick. Just keeping in mind these three aspects, repeating to yourself, creating this habit. You know that the habits of your mind are the most powerful habits. If you create a habit of telling yourself only positive things about your character, about your appearance, just imagine what a power you would have. Our mind is capable of developing a habit of anxious thinking, for instance, by constantly creating bad scenarios, worst case scenarios of what could happen the next day. We already developed this habit, this lethal almost habit of imagining, thinking anxiously. Why not to do the same with our laziness? Create a hardworking mindset, basically. It is absolutely possible to do so. Again, this background wallpaper with the tree is for your help in this case, of reminding you that things develop slowly, good, valuable things develop slowly. And you actually might want to buy some sort of bracelet for keeping it on your wrist. And this bracelet will become a symbol that will remind you of the hard work. So anytime you feel like you are going to opt a short-term success, a short-term satisfaction, you just look at that bracelet and recollect all the notions you got from this video. And this way, again, develop a habit of creating a mindset of a hardworking person. This is it for now. Just want to tell you that you don't want to get too deep, too profound with this, so that you risk your physical well-being. So try to keep that balance when you do the hard work. Perhaps you might reward yourself with some rest after doing the hard work. But keep in mind that you are not doing that work just for the sake of the rest you are going to get afterwards. When you're doing your work, you are focused on your vision that you're seeing. The vision of the great, bright future. And you show your full potential doing that work. And perhaps sometime later, when you get that work to the end, you might lay down a bit, read some book, drink a cup of tea, coffee, look around, and see the beauty in the reality, and be present for a moment to recuperate your focus and your energy for even more potential of showing yourself while doing the hard work. Thank you for your attention, your friend. Hopefully, this video was beneficial for you. Hopefully, you learned something that you perhaps intended to learn from this video. Hope you have enjoyed the watching process. And I hope you will have a great day, great night, great life that makes you satisfied, excited every day, and happy.